Venom is a perfect MCU supervillain, gunning for Thanos' King of Mean title. Considering the Mad Titan is now dust, the two can't duel it out for a shiny belt in the ring. But that doesn't mean they're not connected though. After all, Venom sticks to things like snot to a kindergartner. Ugh. Once he's on ya, he's kinda hard to shake, no matter how hard you scrape. Could Thanos have been keeping something other than tissues up his sleeve? Could his final dastardly trick be to unleash Venom and Carnage on the unsuspecting MCU? Well, let's find out. Venom 2 has been confirmed, and fans are looking forward to the next installment. The 2018 movie saw Eddie Brock bond with the otherworldly alien Symbiote. The character has long since been a key Marvel entity, making waves across the comics since it first appeared in 1984's The Amazing Spider-Man. By the time Venom got their very own feature movie, fans were foaming at the mouth, desperate for the parasite to be introduced. Now that the sequel's on the horizon, this sharp-toothed troublemaker is a hot topic here at CBR and across the superhero-loving globe. Given all the buzz, it's only natural that our inquisitive little brains have gone into overdrive. What can we say? It's sort of what we do here. It didn't take us long to come up with a theory that just might blow your fragile minds. Could Thanos be the one who brings Venom and his deranged supervillain spawn Carnage to the MCU's Earth 199999? Before you call us crazy, there's some weight to this theory that can't be ignored. It might not be a fact, but it's not too far away to be fiction either. Every good plotline starts with a single idea, and this one is certainly worth investigating. Thanos wasn't some young upstart that came into the game wanting to switch things up. He was no amateur villain like Mysterio wanting to find fame and glory. You can call him a whole lot of things, but he wasn't green. For a start, he's purple, but you get the idea. He's the Mad Titan, dubbed the Genghis Khan of the universe by Joe Russo. He's over 1,000 years old, for goodness sake. Along with the Black Order, Thanos made it his life's mission to balance out the universe, hopping from planet to planet. It only makes sense that he would pick up a thing or two along the way, like, say, alien symbiotes. We already know that he had some impressive weapons, like that sword that smashed Cap's shield into smithereens. Considering vibranium is supposedly one of the strongest metals in the universe, that's no small feat. The Asgardians alone must have had a few treasures they managed to salvage before getting on their own ship. Sure, they may have had to flee for their lives really quickly, but who doesn't dip into the family vault before running in terror? And that's just one civilization that Thanos had wrecked. Think about all the others he's put down over the years. A whole lot of balancing and a whole lot of free stuff. Plus, he had the best traveling suitcase in the whole world, the Sanctuary 2. What's a Titan without his ship? After all, you can't do some serious butt-kicking by turning up in a little teeny rocket. Thanos was all about that big entrance, lest we forget when Loki and Thor noticed his vessel looming over theirs at the end of Thor Ragnarok. The Sanctuary 2 got Thanos around from point A to point B in a pinch, and it also carried a whole bunch of his loot. Given his penchant for traveling, Thanos could have easily stumbled across the symbiotes and decided to keep a couple. We're not sure if the bad guys have an elite club, but the creator of the symbiotes, Null, was also a force to be reckoned with. Lovingly nicknamed the Abyss, the god had his fair share of troubles over his lifetime. He also had one thing in common with Big T. Both of them loved venturing to far-off planets and bringing them to their knees. That is a connection that Marvel could exploit if they need a reason to justify Thanos having symbiotes at all. But why would Thanos bother taking these volatile beings in the first place? Sure, he had super strength and all that, but the guy loved a good weapon or two. The Black Order also did his bidding, just like any good kids would do, but they're considerably less powerful than old daddy. The symbiote might not have gone amiss when they were dealing with civilizations that put up a good fight. It may have never been utilized, but it's better to be safe than sorry, right? The threat of having such a strange and unusual entity may have been enough to make planets quake in their boots. There's another theory kicking around that's too interesting not to mention. Of course, Thor's big sis was the Scourge of Asgard, and eventually brought down the entire empire. Some fans believe that she was using all black during those events. Thanos could have easily tracked down the weapon following her destruction and hauled it into his ship for safekeeping. The symbiotes were likely kept safely under lock and key on Sanctuary 2, but now that Thanos is no more, who's looking after him? When Iron Man did his little snap, the 2014 ship vanished, but what about the shit that appeared in Infinity War? We didn't see a trace of it in Endgame, so it must be out there somewhere. No one's mentioned booting it away into space or destroying it, so is it in a secret location? The Avengers aren't, or should we say weren't, ones to leave any loose ends. It's very possible that they might track it down, but who would get the call to go and take care of it? Given that space is kind of their thing, the Guardians of the Galaxy could be the ones for that mission. At the moment, Gamora is alive as an earlier version of herself and has yet to reconnect with Quill and company. Or, we guess, connect for the first time since she technically hasn't really gone on any adventures with them? Time travel's weird. However, you can't deny that it's pretty much inevitable that she is going to appear. Nobody knows Daddy's ship like his daughter, so there's a good chance she could go along for the ride. She can even be the one to lead her buddies to it. If they need some interstellar muscle to help wrangle the stragglers, Captain Marvel would be the first in line. It would be amazing and really on point to see them enter Sanctuary 2 and unwittingly set loose Venom and Carnage. It would make for some downright hilarious scenes while also providing the perfect entry point for Venom and Carnage in the MCU. Sure, we've already seen Venom appear in his own movie, but that is adjacent as a Sony Cinematic Universe outing. These versions of the symbiotes could be quite different. As we well know from the comic books, it's not unusual for there to be several versions of the same character. In fact, it's kind of expected at this point. In the source material, Flash Thompson becomes Agent Venom after voluntarily bonding with the symbiote. Marvel created one heck of a character with this combination, resulting in a military hero. However, things don't always run smoothly as the bond begins to have adverse effects if continued for more than 48 hours at a time. Cue some truly awesome storylines that would make some great visual sequences. What's more, Agent Venom becomes a part of the Guardians of the Galaxy, which is a powder keg of excitement waiting to be lit. Writers can easily tie these two together in the same movie, so will it happen? Let's just hope so. If the MCU does introduce these characters, then they'll have to set the distinction between Sony's versions quite clearly. Agent Venom would be one way to do that. As for Carnage, well, there currently isn't much to deviate from. The only mention we've had of the supervillain in a mid-credit scene when Brock interviews the ruthless criminal Cletus Cassidy. Played superbly by Woody Harrelson, he warns the journalist that when he gets out, it's going to be carnage. Yeah, we know, we're still trying to figure out that riddle too. It hasn't been confirmed, but given that sequence, it's almost certain that Carnage is going to have a big part to play in Venom 2. Marvel's prolific Parasite would need to bring something different to the table, or they could go the other way entirely and decide to keep them closely associated. There are rumors that the two universes could collide at some point, so who knows? Maybe this is how it's done. Given Thanos' close connection to recent events, it could be a perfect way to keep his spirit alive. He may have been an indisputable brute, but we have a soft spot for him. In the comics, Carnage is a direct descendant of Venom. If Thanos bonded with it while he had it in his possession, that could open up a whole can of worms. Symbiotes are notoriously hard to control, so it really could go either way. Typically, these parasites have ancestral recall, so anything that relatives have experienced or learned, they automatically know. Not to mention that symbiotes were literally created out of the deepest, darkest horribleness by Null in the first place. They weren't built to make daisy chains in the park, so if this theory has merit and Thanos not only had Venom in his possession but actively used him, then there could be a big problem. The Avengers might have finally said goodbye to Thanos once and for all, but his genetic memory could still be kicking around. Nobody wants another mastermind with incredible strength running around, especially one as unpredictable and impulsive as Carnage. You have to admit that, while this is a theory that's evolved from nothing more than our overwrought imaginations, this could seriously work. It could give the Guardians some grit and a reason to become more involved with Earth while partnering them up with Captain Marvel. If the Hela theory is actually gospel, then that also gives Thor a reason to stick around and clean up the mess his sister left. We know after the events of Endgame that he's traveling with Quill and company, so that's the perfect setup. You know what? Everyone's a winner here. If Marvel Studios doesn't try and reclaim the symbiotes, then it could mean a lot of upset fans. Not only that, but they would be missing out on huge opportunities when it comes to staying faithful to the comics. Some of the best received works involving the Guardians center around their encounters with symbiotes in recent years. To leave this out entirely just because Sony got there first would be a crying shame. With Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 confirmed for Phase 5 of the MCU, it's the best open door you could ask for. But will Marvel cut their losses and move forward with a wealth of other characters before considering this? And there you have it. Do you have a better way to bring symbiotes in? Sound off in the comment section below. And before you jet off, be sure to give this video a big ol' thumbs up. It'll help us sleep better, because we don't know what it's like to dream anymore. And don't forget to subscribe to CBR either, so you don't miss a thing. Until next time, thanks a whole lot for watching. We'll catch you later.